Is it unreasonable that I, 30 male, I am upset that my wife, 30 female, brought her mom, 60 female, to my dead mother's house? My mom died this month. She had a lot of mental health issues and it was not a natural or expected death. My wife and I live on the West Coast but are originally from the East Coast, and that's where our families are. It quickly became apparent that we would need to physically go through my mom's things to try to find important paperwork to handle her affairs. My wife has not been back to visit family in a while and offered to go instead of me. This way, she could look for what we needed and spend some extra time with her family. My wife asked if she could bring her brother to the house and I agreed. We never specifically talked about bringing anyone else into the house. I figured she would ask like she did with her brother. I'm uncomfortable with my mother-in-law, specifically because she has talked shit about me while she thought I wasn't around multiple times, and has tried pretty seriously to convince my wife to leave me and go home to her. After a meeting at the house last week with my wife, my attorney, and a realtor to survey the house, I got a call from my attorney to discuss what they found. My attorney mentioned that the realtor she normally used wasn't available, but my mother-in-law was there and gave a recommendation for a local realtor who could help. My attorney specifically says she wouldn't normally take a recommendation like this, but because she is my mother-in-law and because she was already there at the house with my wife, she thought it would be fine. I'm not really upset about the realtor, but I am not too happy that my mother-in-law was allowed to wander through the home my mom just died in without ever being asked or even told about it after the fact. My mother-in-law is also a notorious gossip, and any personal information has a way of working its way through her whole family once it gets out. So, I am positive that the state of my mom's house, her mental health issues, drinking problems, etc., are all going to be talked about by people I am not comfortable with before I even had a chance to talk to my own friends and family about it. My wife comes home in a few days, and I am not sure if I should bring this up as an issue. I worry that it will come off as if I am trying to distance my wife from her mother, especially because half of this trip was for her to see her family. This whole situation was also her doing a big favor for me and handling some unpleasant business, which I am very appreciative of. We have talked about similar issues with sharing too much with her mom before, but it hasn't stopped her, so I am not sure there's even a point to bringing this up now. Am I acting like an asshole or being too controlling? Absolutely not. He is not being nor controlling nor being an asshole. So first and foremost, I don't think that just because she is doing him a favor, she should be allowed to reach boundaries. What makes this even worse is that this guy's mother dying is a very sensible topic for thing. Like there are things that he has not told anyone about his own mother. And for his wife to bring her mother, who one is a gossip and two has had problems with the husband before, because she is a gossip, is highly unsensible from her part. And let's not forget that she asked permission for the brother but didn't say a thing because of the mother. Like the wife obviously knew that bringing the mother would be an issue for her husband, and she still did it. As a responsible partner, we need to always keep in mind how our actions will affect our partner. We need to stop and think, how would my partner feel if I do this? If I know that something that I will do will affect them, and you can avoid doing it, like it's not like a death or life situation, then don't do it. Then avoid it. That's your responsibility as a partner. And obviously, like the wife of this guy is having some problems in creating the balance that I was talking in the case before. Like you need to create this balance on saying like, I know my mother wants to go. I know how my mother feels about my husband, but I need to stop her for the sake of my husband's feelings and my relationship. You need to create that balance because this is his mother's house, his mother who just died and who had a very messy life, and it's a very sensible topic for him. So what I would do is 100% bring this issue to the wife, because this obviously is something very sensible, and I do think that the wife really crossed a boundary she shouldn't have, but why she did. And it is important to let her know that I know you love your mother, and I know that it's very hard for you to say no to her, but this issue was sensible for me. It was my mother, it was my situation, and you didn't ask. You did whatever you wanted, and it hurt me, it bothered me, it annoyed me. Whatever it is, the emotion, it is valid. And just for the wife to ignore the issues her husband had with her mother and do whatever she wanted, I think it was highly, highly disrespectful. Letting these type of things slide, the only thing that does is that it will hurt the relationship in the future, because you are creating a precedent where she can do whatever she wants. She can involve her mother in whatever issue she wants, and no one will say no to her. She will keep doing it because you are letting her do it. And yes, I mean, she shouldn't be acting like that, right? Like, she should know better. But obviously, she kind of knows she should, but she isn't doing it. So unless she is facing some consequences, unless she knows, like she is told that what she did was really bad, she will let it slide, and that will only cause more problems in the future. So I think that for the sake of this marriage, this guy should have talked to his wife 100%, and I don't think that he's an asshole at all.